All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA video. This one's different though. Is the WNBA playoff video. We had all of the game ones from the first four series of round one. I want to break them down a little bit, give at least a little bit of talk to each of them. Some of these games were pretty, I don't want to say boring, but pretty standard with what we thought was going to happen. So if you like what I've say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So we had four games yesterday. They were all three of them were back to back to back. The only one that was later was the Aces versus the Storm, which I appreciated because what once I started watching these games, it was one after another after another. It was constant basketball, which is fine, but there was like no break. It was literally like one game was ending, had 3 minutes left, the next one was starting. There was no like break in between, which was kind of disorienting. It didn't really give me time to really think about each series, but as the Aces game ended, I started thinking about all the other series and all the other potential things that could happen in them and what did happen in them. But the first one I want to talk about here, and the one on the top of your screen, is the Valkyries versus the Minnesota Lynx. Now, this is going to be one of the shorter ones that I talk about because there really wasn't a lot that happened out of the ordinary. I do want to talk about the fight that the Valkyries did put up. They put up a really good fight against a championship caliber team, but every moment, every step almost, the Valkyries looked like the young team, the inexperienced team, the one that really the ones that really just aren't ready. Like they're not supposed to be here, and they're just happy to be here. In totality, the Lynx won this game 101 to the Valkyries 72, behind a pretty sturdy game from everybody on the Lynx. Especially they got a lot of help off the bench. Um, Names that stick out to me this game: Nafisa Collier, of course, the MVP hopeful, 20 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 4 personal fouls. Not the best. There were a lot of fouls in each one of these first like 3 games where the, the fouls and the refs going to the monitor to look at stuff and then missing calls was just horrendous. But I'll get into that after this game because I have to preface that for the next 2 games. But continuing on with the box score here, Kale McBride, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 turnovers. Courtney Williams, only 11 points. Not her best playoff performance. These are the sort of games I hope that are few and far between before that are few and far between for Courtney Williams because she is so important to what they do. And if she just has a bad game and the bench doesn't give you anything, they're more likely to lose those games. In this game, what normally happens is Courtney Williams has a bad game. Natisha Heidemann will come in, give you a solid teens performance. She had 18 points off the bench. If Dejanay Carrington returning from injury, 6 points, made two of her threes off the bench, and that was pretty much it for the Lynx. The Lynx, the Lynx did everything they were supposed to do in this game. They were the mature team. They were the smarter team. There were some times where the Valkyries did what they do best, and that's shoot threes, and that's get out in space, in pace, and they made the Lynx think for about maybe like a quarter and a half, and then once the Lynx were like, okay, we figured it out. Let's just move on. Let's just move past these guys. We got a win. We got the win at home. We just need to go to San Jose, win that one on Tuesday tomorrow, and then we're done. I think that stuff sort of clicks when it's a potential 3 game series. Um, you win the one at home, you win the one away, especially against the lower seed in the Valkyries, the inexperienced team, and you call it a day. Um, and this is sort of an appetizer. I think this is a good matchup in the sense of it's something different for the Lynx to have in their back pocket to see what other teams are likely to do against them. Um, the Valkyries coach said in her pregame interview that she watched all of the finals last year, the Lynx versus the Liberty, to try to figure out how to stop the Lynx. And obviously, they didn't do that this game. They probably won't do it all series. But it's interesting to see that a coach is so committed to trying to figure it out. And I don't think a lot of coaches are that committed, especially if you've played against this team a lot in the Lynx. But They, they, the the coach and the team did throw some interesting things at them, some interesting schemes. Um, can't really play target basketball, and when I say target basketball, I mean hunting a weak defensive player. The Lynx really don't have a weak defensive player. I mean, maybe you could hunt Kayla McBride, but Kayla McBride has a lot of size. Courtney Williams is somebody you can try to hunt, but she does have those quick hands. Tisha Heideman's the only one, and the thing about her is if you go at her, she will go right back at you. She'll match you bucket for bucket, and you don't want to get in that competition with her. The people who are bad on defense don't really play. Um, they do have their point of attack defender, Dejanay Carrington, back. Don't really need it for this series, but this is a good series to get her back in, get her warmed up. She's still dealing with that shoulder um, discomfort, but she was out there playing, and they're going to need her next series when they eventually play either the Phoenix Mercury or the New York Liberty. Now, to talk about the Golden State Valkyries for a little bit here, it's a team effort. This is a team. This is a team oriented group of players. Nobody with 20 plus points. Um, Xander Lassini, 14 points. Salon, 13 points. To me, 12. Veronica Burton, 14. Kate Martin, 11. She had some really good shots. Did not make a lot of them. She was 2 for 6 from three. There were some impactful shots in there. And the team, this is the thing about this team. It's a nice story. It's a good story. They're the only expansion team thus far to have made the playoffs in their first year, their inception year. We'll put it that way. And they're just happy to be here. Um, I like the cute collection of talent they have. It's just a shame they have to go against this Lynx team that is just dead set on making it to the finals, and they're just gonna wipe the floor with almost anybody that's in front of them that isn't named um, the Liberty. So I think that's really it for this game. Let me go into the play-by-play here for a moment. Yeah, the Lynx were only up. It's the Lynx, right? No, Golden State was up at the end of the first quarter, and then we go to the second quarter here. The end of the first half, the Lynx were up by 7. We go to the fourth. We go to the third. That's when the Lynx really blew it open. They started to go on a good run at the end of the second, and they carried it into the third. And then by the fourth, the game was over. By the start of the fourth, the game was over, and the Valkyries were just at the mercy of the Lynx. So I think my prediction for this is still standing strong. I said the Lynx are going to sweep this team in two. I'd be very surprised if the Valkyries were playing at home, like in Chase Center, instead of having to go to their the other arena. I might give the Valkyries a chance, maybe, but at this rate, uh, outside factors have come into basketball in the sense of the Valkyries aren't going to be at home in their home arena. They're going to have to move to a different arena for other obligations that the Chase Center have already committed to. So the Valkyries will be at another arena in San Jose. Even though I think the fans are going to show up in San Jose, I don't think it's going to be the same. I think the Lynx go in on Tuesday, win that game, and get a clean sweep, as I said in my preview video. So moving on here to the Dream versus the Fever. This was a interestingly competitive game. I thought the Fever would really struggle with this matchup, and they didn't. And they only lost this game, was that by 12? I think is that 12? I don't know. But I do want to talk about the refereeing and the lack of it, I guess, before I talk about these next two games and the last game. It really didn't affect the last game in the Aces, but these next two. Um, some of these refs are just so freaking awful. They are just so bad. It feels like some of them have never refereed playoff basketball before, and they're missing calls. Coach Stephanie White of the Indiana Fever was visibly frustrated that like she had to waste her coach's challenges on calls that were just so blatantly obvious that should have been called in the moment. The whistle should have been blown immediately, and I agree with her. I think when they did go to the monitor to look at the coach's challenge or look at something, whatever it was, they took way too long. It was maybe like 5, 6 minutes where they were just standing there, standing there, standing there. And we were just waiting for a resolution, and it was usually something again that could have been called on the floor, could have been called in the pace and the the course of the game, but they didn't, and they missed it. And the coach is having to waste the challenge, stop the game, go to a commercial, come back, and then the commentators have to explain it. It's just so stupid. It's ridiculous. The WNBA needs better refs. And if this is a forecast of what's to come, I'm very concerned with how the semifinals are going to go and how the finals are going to go. Because last year, for those who do not remember, one of my first videos on this channel was when I talked about the Lynx versus the Liberty finals and how bad and how blatant the refereeing was in that game in favor of the Liberty. And it was just sad to see that how I hate in any sport, especially because I watch basketball for it's my joy, it's my love. It's so to me it's just so bad when like outside factors have to like pervert basketball when basketball is a clear cut sport. It's very clear. It's a clear cut sport. But then the refs have to come in and these outside factors have to come in. It's just so stupid. And it just makes it so unwatchable. And it makes it so bad. Like it's just a bad watch. And I don't think any of these games are a bad watch. I think some of them were obviously Lynx versus Valkyries was a blowout at times, but you got one good half of basketball, and that's fair. It is the first round. It is the worst teams versus the best teams, and sometimes they're a little bit closer, a little bit farther away in the talent discrepancy. But either way, I think the WNBA needs to do better, and I think and that no they I know they need to do better, and I hope that it is better in the next coming games and coming into the next round. Anyways, enough with my little tangent. Fever versus the Dream, Dream versus the Fever. The Dream won this game 80 points to the Indiana Fever 68. This game was so strangely close, and it sort of threw me off because you look at this final box score, this final score, right? And you think, and then you go look at the box score, right? And you look at this game, and you see Aaliyah Boston had a bad game. 8 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 personal fouls. Just an awful game. Awful game. And I think everybody that watches basketball knew that Aaliyah Boston was gonna have a bad game, a tough series even because she has to go at Brianna Jones, she has to go at um Brittany Griner. And she's not gonna win that battle. She's just not. She's not seasoned enough, she's not strong enough, she's not I think she's smart enough to win that matchup, but those other two factors negate the one factor. And I look at this game and I look at Aaliyah Boston had a bad game. Natasha Howard had a bad game by her standards. Lexi Hole didn't show up at all. 1 of 5 from three. A lot of ticky tacky fouls. 3 of 13, and they only lost this game by a little bit of a margin. And you see Kelsey Mitchell have 27 points, only made 1 3, 9 of 18. You look at this game, and I see it as I predicted it as a sweep for um the Dream. But I said with a caveat. I said if the Fever can have some good momentum in the first game and then go into the second game at home and get some more out of. Now I'm changing my prediction a little bit um, to go more in line with this, with the stats in front of me. I think the bones of a win for the Fever are there in the next game. Because I don't think Aaliyah Boston has this bad of a game next game. I don't think Lexi Hole has this bad of a game. And I think if Kelsey Mitchell can get 27 on poor shooting and bad shots in Atlanta, she can get closer to like, I don't want to predict any stat lines because I don't do that, but like maybe 35, 37. And then Aaliyah Boston pitches in with 15. Lexi Hole gets like 12 or 10. Natasha Howard's around 12 or 10. And then we have a ball game. Then it comes down to who has more firepower. And the Atlanta Dream have more firepower, but with the refereeing and everything the way that it is, it could shake out for the Indiana Fever. The Fever got absolutely nothing off the bench. I think everybody knew coming into this game that um, the Fever were just absolutely cooked. After you get through their starting five, and two of their starting five players had 3+ fouls, um, you could just go at their bench because their bench just isn't. I don't want to say WNBA talent, but they aren't second string WNBA talent players. They're like third string. Like that, there's a reason why there were like 16 players in the team photo because they've had 16 players this year, an unprecedented number. But I think the Fevers have the bones and have the structure and have this was a good game even though it was a loss for the Fever. And moving on to the winners in the Dream were amazing. I think they did everything that we thought they were going to do. I always forget how tall their backcourt is of Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard. They're so tall. They make the Indiana Fever guards look so freaking small, and they shoot right over them. Both the backcourt had combined for 40 points, 20 each. Um, Neither of them shot it particularly well. Ryan Howard 4 of 10 from three. Alicia Gray 1 of 5 from three. These are the other things that are concerning for the Fever in the sense of they had a bad shooting game as well. You don't expect them to have two bad shooting games in a row. Maybe you do because they're away, but maybe you don't. Um, that really bolstered the lead that they did get. Um, Jordan Canada, I don't know why Jordan Canada is starting. 2 points, stinky. That's a stinky game. 2 points, played 25 minutes, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, six personal fouls. Stinky game. Naz Hamlin, sixth woman of the year, got the start, or potential sixth woman of the year. Naz Hamlin got the start last night. Um, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 5 personal fouls, not the best. 3 blocks, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, and Brianna Jones in a bit of foul trouble. Again, the refereeing is so freaking whack. 5 personal fouls, 12 points, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 rebounds, 5 of 7. Had some great moments on Aaliyah Boston, even though I hate to see my girl Aaliyah Boston get tossed around like that. Brianna Jones is the more seasoned, more veteran uh, player, and that's just what's going to happen. Um, Did not need a lot off the bench, all things considered. Brittany Griner, stinky game as well. Very stinky game. Very stinky. 2 points, 1 of 4. Stinky game. Stinky. Um, you need to pick it up. Brittany Griner, you're looking old. You're looking old, girlfriend. You're looking old. Um, let's see here. Who else? They didn't have a lot off the bench. They didn't need a lot. Um, they took advantage of a injured Indiana Fever team and they won. Simple, cut, straight. Let's move on. Again, your final score 80 points to the Indiana Fever 68. And I'll keep my prediction. I think it is going to be a bit more challenging for the Atlanta Dream, but I also think that the Fever have a chance to steal a game. Maybe. We'll see. Um, but yeah, let's move on to our second to last game. The defending champion, New York Liberty, starting their title defense away in Phoenix versus the Mercury. The New York Liberty won this game 78 to the Phoenix Mercury 69. A lot of history here, lot of stuff. We have the Sabali sisters, Nara and Satu, uh, both uh, both on different teams. I don't think they played against each other too much. And during the course of this game, you have Coach Sandy Brondello, who used to coach the Phoenix Mercury, and you have just a lot of intertwining lines going in between, intertwining threads. Um, I'm going to preface this part with um, I had the New York Liberty winning this in 3 games. So they have to go into Phoenix. They have to win. The Phoenix Mercury have to go into the Barclays Center on Tuesday, win in New York, and then it has to go back to Phoenix, and then New York has to win it in Phoenix. Um, I didn't think the New York Liberty were going to win this game, but they did. So congrats to them. I'm also going to preface this conversation in this part of the video with what the hell were the Phoenix Mercury doing? I was shocked at how flat their offense was. And I think the commentators were as well. We had to go to overtime to finish this game, by the way. I was just shocked. with how flat their offense was. Their offense was abysmal. It was disgusting. They were a one-trick pony the whole freaking game. And this is something I couldn't put my finger on in the regular season. I was like, I just don't trust this Mercury team. I can't figure out why. I just can't figure it out, you know. And they played well, and they're the higher seed as well, and they played a good season, and they made some tweaks to their roster throughout the course of the season, and they have a lot of veteran talent, and I figured it out. I figured it out. I figured it out. I'm Einstein. I figured it out. The problem is, and you're gonna find a lot of this discourse online as well. Satu Sabali is overrated. Overrated. I am a big fan of hers. I genuinely like her game. But man, dude, does she talk like she's like an all time great player when she's just like an okay all star? And this is one of her first like playoff appearances, I would say, on a good team with actual like aspirations to win the whole thing. And she played like shit. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say players play like shit a lot. I don't say that. If you've watched me long enough, I don't say that. She played like shit. 9 points, 3 turnovers, 3 steals, which is about par for the course when you're forward. You just get your hands in the passing lanes. 2 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 of 10 from three. Nobody else except Sammy Whitcomb attempted 5 or more. She took 10. 2 of 17 in 37 minutes of play in an overtime game. Absolutely abysmal. Abysmal. And I didn't notice it throughout the course of the game. I knew she was taking a lot of shots, and I knew like some of them where I was like, oh, you shouldn't really be taking that. Like rotate the ball a little bit, you know? And and then I looked at the puck score, and then I was on social media and people were talking about this, and I have to find the comment that I saw. Somebody left a really funny comment, and I have to read this. This is on another platform. Um, Hold on, let me find it for you guys. Someone said on social media, and it's got 106 likes. Was I wish I had 1/10 the confidence Satu has. And I replied, I'm such a fan of her, but I have to admit she's overrated. And I think what's really important and what we need to keep in mind, especially in basketball playoffs, is that I don't care what you do in the regular season. You can be known as a regular season player, and that's fine. You know, in order to be like a highly played player, a highly paid player, and a highly touted player, and a highly respected player, you need to do it in the playoffs. And what Satu did last night left a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths. Um, and it wasn't even the defense they were playing on her. She had a lot of open looks. She had a lot of good looks. Alyssa Thomas got her a lot of open looks. And again, the referee played a lot of factors into the course of this game, especially because it's the defending champs and they get the favorable whistle. But I, I I was highly disappointed in Satu, and I was highly disappointed in the offensive schemes that the Phoenix Mercury ran. Um, and I was disappointed in what a lot of people thought was an MVP in Alyssa Thomas. She looked like a one trick pony this game. Three ball, non existent. Shot, turnaround, post, whatever shot she was trying to attempt, ugly. It looked ugly. It didn't go in. Her getting downhill, especially on like the frailer, skinnier Brianna Stewart, should have worked a lot more than it did, and it didn't. Um, I don't understand how those 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 shots didn't go in. Another thing that's slightly concerning is that every 5 minutes, and I like players that talk to refs and like actually want to like get the problem fixed. But like every time she missed a shot, Alyssa Thomas was looking at the ref, turning at the ref, and like throwing up her hands and like doing this and like that doesn't help anything. Like you just got to play the game at some point, you know. And I get it's frustrating. I get the calls aren't going your way, and we've all been there. Whether you're playing a video game or playing the actual sport or watching the sport as a fan or as somebody who has to talk about it like I do, I get that. But goddamn, just play basketball. Just play the game. Just play the game. That's all we need to do is play the game. And, and it's frustrating. I know. And sometimes it feels like it's you, your team versus the other team and the refs. It's gonna feel like that. It's the playoffs. It's gonna feel like that. It's very apparent, right? But what you can't do is turn and look at the refs every 5 seconds. You just can't do that. You can't. It doesn't do it. It doesn't help your team. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the refs give you more favorable calls. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And when I call Alyssa Thomas a one trick pony, especially in this game, is that like she brought up the ball, cool, novel, right? Like a point forward. Ooh, wow, cool. Yes, let's clap, right? Cool, right? Like once she would make the play would just die. Like the play would just absolutely die. Like once they ran the action, whether it was off the baseline, whether it was a screen, whether it was her handing off the ball to somebody else, that's when the action stopped. Maybe there was one more movement, one more motion by another player to get open in the corner or cut. And Alyssa Thomas had a lot of good cutting passes to cutting players. But after that, the offense was awful. Um, Kalia Copper had an okay game, 15 points, Finals MVP from a couple years ago, 5 of 13 overall. Did not make a three, made all the free throws surprisingly. Um, bad game by her standards. It was okay for the game for the rest of the team, but um, Alyssa Thomas, 14 points, 3 turnovers, um, 1 steal, 8 assists, 9 rebounds, 7 of 18, not great. Monique, 8 points against Satu 9. Off the bench, Dewana Bonner, 12. And they ran a really tight bench. And I guess the playoffs, but man, you need to get something off this bench because it's bad. Dewana Bonner, 12, one of three from three, made one like lucky three. Sammy Whitcomb tried her best at times, but she would get abused by Sabrina or the variety of other guards they have that stretch the floor. And I also want to mention that Phoenix Mercury were running like a 5 out offense. Like everybody was at the 3 point line, but like they didn't use it right. And if it was the first time in like modern basketball in a professional setting where a team ran 5 out, and I was like, no, you need to actually like have somebody in the paint or have somebody like by the nail or by wherever, just doing something else besides standing out there because it just looks awkward. Um, Moving on here to the winners, the New York Liberty. Before I do, Phoenix Mercury need to pick it up. You lost game one at home, which is terrible, and now you need to go into one of the toughest arenas in the WNBA and try to win there. The New York Liberty might get a sweep. That's the other thing I want to mention. The New York Liberty might get a sweep. There's a huge caveat to that. However, in that Breanna Stewart did get injured throughout the course of this game, winding down in the last couple minutes of the game before overtime. Breanna Stewart goes in on a drive, tries to lay the ball up, and she plants her foot and she crumples to the floor, and it's a whole big deal. Um, she's been having one of the worst shooting years of her career. She looked pretty decent this game actually. She had 18 points, 7 of 14, 1 of 3 from three, 2 steals, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, pretty good stuff. And she played a really good defense on Alyssa Thomas, who's a lot bigger, a lot stronger. Um, but she went down with a non-contact injury. She went to the bench. She did not go in the back. She did not get looked at or anything like really intensely. They just slapped what do you call? I forget what it's called, but it's one of those things with the it's the brace with like the it's a heater or a cooler sort of device on her, and she sat for the beginning of the overtime, and then she came back in, I think, and she was walking around. She was fine, but the ambiguous thing that the coach Sandy Bondella said, and what everybody else said was, I hope she's okay. It's not good. We should get a report later today or early tomorrow because they do have to fly back from Phoenix. I don't know if they're going to do it in Phoenix because if you do get on a plane and you fly back, it might worsen the swelling or whatever, but we'll see. Um, Maybe tonight or tomorrow we'll have a clear report. It did not look good though. Whenever it's a non-contact injury, I'm always very wary of how the severity of it, and especially considering Brianna Stewart's one of their only bigger bodies and one of the only ones that actually had a good game. And I sat right here in the same room that I am right now, and I tapped on my desk and I said, Brianna Stewart's gonna be very important for this game. Um, Coming into this game and after this, well, I should say after this game, um, with the question marks on Brianna Stewart, with the great game from Natasha Cloud and the good game from Sabrina Escu, this team cannot win the series if I have to rely on Sabrina and Natasha at the same time to carry a series. Because I said, and I said in my preview, you cannot rely on Jonquel Jones in this series. And you haven't been able to rely on her for this back half of the WNBA season. She had 7 points last night, 12 rebounds. 12 rebounds were needed, but she was getting out work sometimes. It was embarrassing. She does not look healthy. Jonquel Jones does not look healthy. 3 blocks, three personal fouls, 2 turnovers. Not great. Again, Natasha Cloud, great game, 23 points, 4 steals, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Natasha Cloud, also former Phoenix Mercury. Sabrina Escu, 16 points, 5 turnovers, not great. 2 blocks, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 of 12 from three. Um, Not a lot off the bench for the New York Liberty. Did not need it though. However, actually no, they did need it because they needed to go to overtime, but not because they didn't have any offense. It's because they didn't have any defense. Emma Misselman did not have a great game. 2 points, 8 rebounds. Maybe slightly concerning that she might have to start if Brianna Stewart is injured. You might actually give Isabel Harrison the nod. Um, Maybe Nara Sabali. We'll see. But not a great game for the bench. But the the starters are really good for the New York Liberty. And overall, I'm gonna reserve my thought about this series that it'd be even a 3 or a 2 game series because we do not know the condition or the health of Brianna Stewart. Even if she does attempt to play, they might just hold her out. I don't think they want to do that. I think she's had enough of a bad year, and I think putting her out there on one leg is not good. She already had another knee injury earlier in the season. I don't think you risk it. I think you just tell everybody, hey, we're at home. Sabrina, Natasha, John, Cole Jones, um, Kennedy Burke, everybody. We just need to win this one because we have to be prepared for the Lynx in the next series because that's that side of the bracket. Um, Lastly, here, a little quick one here at the end. It's very similar to the Lynx versus the Valkyrie first half of this video. The Aces versus the Storm, the most inexperienced team left in the playoffs, or in the playoffs right now. The Storm versus the Las Vegas Aces, 102 to the Storm 77. Um, I'm going to repeat a lot of things I said about the Lynx and Valkyries is that the Aces just went to town. They took them to the cleaners. Um, This is one of the best team performances from this game, improving their winning streak from the regular season to the postseason. And I said this in my preview. I said, "What's 2 more games to the Aces when they've won 16 in a row? Now they've won 17. They've won everywhere. They've won at home, away. They've won in the playoffs now and in the regular season. They're on such a roll, such a stretch. They need, I think, 2 more or 3 more to get the all-time record, which would be incredible. But we'll see. Um, this game, I'm just gonna run through the stat line, the stat lines here. Melissa Smith, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 4 of 6 from field goal in 25 minutes. Looked amazing, probably the best she's looked. Smart cuts, smart layups, smart putbacks. Really good defense on a lot of bigger players. Really good outlet passes. Just amazing stuff. Christian Bell, 5 points. I didn't know why she got the start, but she made 1 3, so I guess it's okay. Asia Wilson, the MVP, 4-time MVP, soon to be, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Her night was over by the beginning of the fourth quarter, so she sat for the majority of the fourth. Chelsea Gray, not great, but held up a lot better against the better backcourt and the younger backcourt in Seattle. 5 points, 3 steals, six assists, 4 rebounds. Not bad for the older player Chelsea Gray. Jackie Young, great game, great game. 18 points, 4 of 6 from three, 6 of 9 from field goal, 4 steals, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Really good stuff for Jackie Young here. Really, I was so happy with her play. I was also happy with the play of Dana Evans, 13 points off the bench, 3 of 6 from three, 5 of 11 overall from field goal. I was also very happy with the other guard. That's 3 guards that they had really good games. Drew Lloyd, former Seattle Storm player, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, no turnovers, 1 block, 3 of 6 from three, 5 of 9 from field goal, 26 minutes. Amazing stuff for this team. This is the most connective they've looked. This is the best they've looked. They hit their stride 16 games ago, and now they've carried it over into the playoffs. Um, I'm not looking forward to the next round where they might have to play the Atlanta Dream, but they can beat up on this inexperienced Storm team, this old and young Storm team, because they have two really old, really good players in Skylar Diggins and Oneka. But um, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But they play like a young team. They have so many young talents. They have what's this? One, two, three, four, five people in double digits, which isn't bad. Gabby Williams, 16 points, leading the team in scoring. Did not make a three. Had some really good moments in the third, coming out of the locker room. Oneka 11, not the best. Maybe we can say she's overrated too. I'm gonna get in trouble for that. Might be a little overrated. Might be a little out of her depth, a little past her prime, perhaps. Um, did not look great against Asia Wilson at all. 5 of 10 from field goal, 1 of 3 from three. Skylar Diggins did not look great either. 4 of 11 from field goal, 2 of 3 from three. 3 turnovers, not great. 3 personal fouls, no turnovers. 2 assists, 2 rebounds, did not look great. Brittany Sykes, a donut, 0 points, zero threes attempted, 0 field goals made. Did not even make a free throw. So a donut for Brittany Sykes, the midseason pickup that looked pretty good and just doesn't look good right now, at least in game one. Dominique Mongola, the rookie, getting some burn in the playoffs. Got some burn probably when the game was over. Had some minutes when the game mattered, but only really got rebounds um, and put them back in, which is fine. I mean, that's your job. That's your job. 11 points, 11 rebounds, 12 points. Erica Wheeler, 10 points. Probably should have played more. I mean, she didn't shoot the ball well, but when you have somebody putting up a donut, 10 points is better than none. Am I right? Um, and then they got some guys, some ladies that played in garbage time, and that's it. The winners of each game, just to round out here, the Lynx won game one, are heading to San Jose to play the Valkyries tomorrow. The Atlanta Dream won their game. They're heading to Indiana to play the Fever in their game too. The New York Liberty are heading back home in their title defense to play the Mercury. That'll be an interesting game. We'll see what happens with Brianna Stewart. And the Aces will head to Seattle to play the Storm in their second game. What two series will end tomorrow? I think I think concretely the Aces are going to win in Seattle. They advance. The Lynx win in San Jose to beat the Valkyries. They advance. I think maybe I have such a feeling that the Fever are going to have a good game next game. The Fever win and extend the series to go back to Atlanta um, to play the Dream again, and then I think the Mercury maybe pull out a game two in Barclays, but maybe not. I think maybe the Liberty advance. Maybe we'll see. Um, that's it. That is the video. That's the WNBA playoff update. I did release a new video in the Turmoil series, in my NBA series. If you want to check that out, I'd really appreciate it. It's an hour and 30 minutes long. Even if you just get through some of it, I would appreciate it. Like this video. Go like that video too. Watch a little bit of it. Tell your friends. And yeah, that's it. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Cheers.